Nebraska is getting ready for one of their biggest recruiting weekends of all time this Saturday, hosting over 30 4-star and 5-star prospects. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a huge update. We're going to go over every single player visiting, who these guys are, what they bring to the table, their interest in the Huskers, what other schools are in the mix, everything you need to know about them. And then when it's all said and done, whether or not they will commit to the Big Red. So really quick, we have a lot to talk about. If you're excited about Husker recruiting ramping up, I know I am. Hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for daily content talking Nebraska? It's a no-brainer. It takes 2 seconds. Join this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to discuss. Simply put, this will turn out to be one of the biggest recruiting weekends in the history of Husker football. Over 30 4-star and 5-star prospects are in town to watch the Huskers take on the number 21 ranked Michigan Wolverines in what should be our first ranked victory in around a decade. We'll talk about the implications. We'll talk about the importance as the video goes on. But I want to get things started with the class of 26, all the visitors there. Then we'll go to all the 5-stars in the class of 27, some big time names in the class of 28. And then we'll talk about the final word, what we can do to get these guys here and the importance of all of this. Let's get things started with the 26th class. Cameron Wilson will be in town. Now, we know that for the most part, the 26th class is pretty much wrapped up. We already have about 12 commits. Now, we're trying to flip a couple guys here and there, like a Cameron Wilson, like a Jordan Campbell, like a player we're about to talk about who may or may not be in town. But Cameron Wilson, they've made it very clear that of all these names, they want him the most. Now, he's been committed to Syracuse for some time now. He's a 4-star according to multiple recruiting sites, 6'5", 210 pounds, coming out of Miami, Florida. Now, he's made it very clear that while he's committed to Syracuse, it's pretty open. Florida State's been trying to flip him. Nebraska's been involved. And I've told you guys for a long time, I believe the Huskers will make this official, will flip him by the time we get to signing day, at least maybe even by November. So again, Syracuse, they've been struggling recently. They almost lost to UConn when Cameron Wilson was visiting just a couple weeks ago. Florida State, they're doing a really good job on the football field. They have a real shot to flip him, but with the connection that he has with Philip Simpson, Rob Dvorak, multiple players on the team coming out of Miami, and I believe that if we beat Michigan on Saturday, it's just going to confirm what we already know. Cameron Wilson will flip to the Huskers. So somebody who has great speed, great size, NFL length. He can get to the quarterback in a split second with his athleticism. And yeah, somebody we absolutely need in this class. We need edge rush. We need defensive lineman. He checks that box. So that will be the first player visiting. And also, this is unconfirmed, but there's a lot of chatter that Demitrius Hughes could also be in town this weekend versus Michigan. Of course, Florida State safety commit, been that way for over a year now, but he's 6'2", 170. A lot of schools have been trying to flip him, like a Florida, like a Miami. You got Colorado in there, you got Syracuse in there. So somebody whose recruitment is still very much wide open, but very similar to Cameron Wilson. Great connection with the coaching staff, whether that's Addison Williams, John Butler, Matt Rule, believes in the culture here, loves the Nebraska movement. Demitrius Hughes could very well see him get in town and be impressed if Nebraska does in fact get the victory versus the Wolverines. So those are really the only 26 visitors expected. Now, there's a lot of implications beyond just the visitors. Titan Davis is a Michigan commit. He's a 4-star defensive lineman. He won't be in town, but if you do indeed beat the Wolverines, he could end up rethinking his pledge and say, hey, you know what? I need to visit Nebraska down the line. Or same deal with Mekhi Blade, who's another 4-star defensive lineman who's committed to Michigan, who the Huskers have been going after, right? So again, this is a huge game for a multitude of reasons, whether you're visiting or you're not, for the class of 26. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go to the class of 27 because, oh my goodness, it's stacked. So many 5-stars, so many big-time names. Let's just get things started with the #1 prospect in America. That's how we should start this off, with Kennedy Brown. Again, #1 according to both 24/7 Sports Composite, On3 Rivals. They all have him listed as the #1 man. He's 6'4", 280, coming out of Texas. Every offer you can imagine. Texas has made a great push. Texas A&M, I love those hometown schools. Oklahoma's in there, but again, he's visited Nebraska a couple times already. Nebraska is not offering as much money as the other schools are, but he just has a great connection here. Again, he feels like he can start right away, which you're not getting at the other programs. He loves Matt Rule. He feels like the culture's really meant for him. And not to say that our NIL is not competitive. It is competitive. I mean, it's maybe not as much as they can tell what Texas A&M's offering Texas, but it is competitive. So the Huskers, they're going after some big dogs. So whether it's a Kennedy Brown, Mark Matthews, and Albert Simeon, who we've talked about, they want some huge big hitter, 5-star, 4-star offensive lineman in this class. They're doing their best with Kennedy Brown. It should be mentioned, Trey Taylor's going to be in town too. He's going to be peer recruiting this guy all weekend long. And then let's just keep with the 5-stars, right? You go over to the secondary, Juju Johnson, who we made very clear is our #1 target. Again, at that corner spot, we want to pair him alongside our other 5-star, Torrey Pittman, 5'11", 170, coming out of Long Beach, California. He's everything that you'd imagine from a California corner. Incredibly speedy, shifty, great ball skills. He has some physicality to him. You can put him all over the defense, whether it's, again, boundary corner, nickel, strong safety, free safety. You can put him in the box. You can do a bunch of different things with him. He's so athletic and very similar. Similarly, he's made his top list. Again, he likes Alabama. He likes USC, but he keeps coming back to Nebraska. He was here for the 77 tournament and was really impressed. He said, you know what, I really wasn't going to, entertain the Huskers, but now that I'm here and I see with my own eyes and I see this coaching staff and I see the facilities, that's a huge selling point. The facilities, by the way, he said, you know what, I got to come back here and see it for a game day. Okay, so if he was impressed during June when nobody was here, imagine how impressed it's going to be when he sees 90,000 hopefully in a victory. Yeah, so Juju Johnson's somebody to watch out for. And keeping it with the 5-stars, keeping it with his buddy. Another 5-star corner, number 18 player in America, Duve Williams, also out of CA, will be in town. Again, USC's made a really good push here, 6'1", 170. Very similar to Juju, where great speed, great versatility, maybe a little more physical in his game, right? A little better tackler, but again, very, very similar with that upside. And again, both these guys have a million offers, right? And this guy's 42 offers, Bama, Texas A&M, USC, Georgia. So again, I'd say Juju Johnson's a little bit more likely to land, but never say never, right? We still have a long time, still sign day for these guys. And if you could start winning and you can impress them, it goes a long way. So just watch out for Duve Williams. He will be in town. And then we got Matthew Gregory. He was going to visit for the Akron game. He decided to push it back. He will be in town this weekend versus Michigan. Coming out of Pennsylvania, one of the fastest wide receiver recruits in America. He runs a legit 4.4. I compare him to Ryan Williams, the current receiver over there at Bama. Like he has that great speed, similar build, similar athleticism, but he's one of those guys where you can put him all over the field and he's never going to get tackled, right? He's kind of like a Jacory Barney in a way too, where he has the spin move, he has the juke move. He's so elusive. You can put him on jet sweeps. So, I mean, I would just love to see this guy in Dana Holgerson's offense. It would be a match made in heaven with Dylan Raiola, with Trey Taylor. But again, Matthew Gregory will be visiting, big-time 5-star wideout. And then going on to the plethora of 4-stars, we have a couple other 5-stars scattered in here, especially in the class of 28. We'll get to them. You got Corey Hadley, who's a safety coming out of Tyrone, Georgia. He was a borderline 5-star, very physical safety, willing to lay the boom on you. He's more of a strong safety, in my opinion. Got a good build, but again, a bunch of big-time offers. Georgia right now probably is the favorite. You got Bama as well. You got Florida, but he's been saying for a while that Nebraska, he really wanted to make a trip over here. Again, he knows he can play early. He knows we're going to be aggressive when it comes to NIL, but he's going to check out the Huskers. You had Caden McCarty, who is one of my favorite prospects because I was really high on this guy before he was ever ranked by any recruiting site. He was visiting Nebraska. I want to say he was going to visit Nebraska back in like February. And that was when he was an unranked prospect. I told you guys on the channel, I think Caden McCarty is going to be a big-time 4-star. And a couple days later, after I posted that video, they bumped up to a top 100 player in his class. So again, this is somebody I would compare a lot to a Prince Wally Manmiel. Like, they're very similar players where, again, 6'2", he's about 222 pounds. He's so athletic off the line. Again, he has long arms. He has obviously a great athleticism, great explosiveness to get to the quarterback. He's not super big, right? He's only like 16 years old. But again, it's the stuff you can't teach from Caden McCarty. Very high on him. Then you got Jamar Thompson. If you want some beef on the D-line, that's what we're trying to address right now. You got Jamar Thompson, who's again 6'2", about 300 pounds. I'd imagine the second he gets on campus, he might be 320, right? He's huge. He's a nose tackle. He can play 3-tech. He actually is pretty athletic, but I mean, when you watch his film, I mean, it's fun, right? I mean, he's just bullying dudes, bull rushing you, doing whatever he wants. So Jamar Thompson, I mean, you want a big bruiser inside? Yeah, you want this guy. So that's a big-time guy that we probably have to land because we need somebody in the D-line class. Well, there's 26, 28. It doesn't matter. 27, you need some defensive line beef. Jamar Thompson will be visiting. Then you got King Thibodeau, who will be in town. That's a great name. You got King Thibodeau, 6'2", 270, out of Texas. Another edge rusher there. Somebody who can do a little bit of everything. You can put him at 3-tech. You can put him at jack. he's not really a nose, but again, he can play all over the defense. Pretty athletic. He kind of reminds me of Kayvon Thibodeaux. I don't know if they're related, but they're similar playing styles. But again, somebody who will be visiting some more beef on the D line. Then you go to arguably our number one running back target in this class, Isaiah Rodgers, coming out of the East Coast. For whatever reason, EJ Barthel likes his East Coast running backs. He refuses to take anybody else besides East Coast running backs, but this one I can get behind. Isaiah Rodgers is really, really talented, super speedy at 5'10", 190, good contact balance. You can put him in the backfield, you can put him in the slot, he can catch passes, he can block for you. So I understand why we go to these East Coast guys, because they're very physical and they enjoy the contact. His offer list is decent, and I think he's a top. Again, he's a 145th in America, right? That's pretty good. So we'll watch out for him. But Nebraska, they're trying to move quickly. They want to get him locked down right now. And then just going rapid fire here, you got Kennedy Green, who's a 4-star safety out of Georgia. He'll be in town. You got Will Slagle, who's a 4-star offensive lineman coming out of Iowa. Iowa State, Iowa, they have already made a good push here, but just watch out for this name. Somebody who's been picking up some decent offers. Samaj Stanford, who I'm very high on. I literally think it's like Torrey Pittman 2.0. Like, they are so similar in their playing styles. Both are super shifty, super fast. You can put him at corner, you can put him at safety. Like, he's 5'11", 180. He's visited Nebraska already like 2 or 3 times. So, I mean, you guys already know how it is. It's a race between the Huskers and the Sooners for him. But Samaj Stanford, watch out for that name. Then you got Lucas Roa, who's a 4-star offensive lineman coming out of California. We got some more beef coming in, this time on the O-line, a big-time tackle. You got Jackson Roper, who's an interior lineman coming out of Colorado. We've done a really good job recruiting that state. He's the #1 player out of there. And then last but not least, Bryson Brown out of Oklahoma, 4-star corner, will also be in Lincoln. Whew, that's a lot. There's also a couple other 3-star class of 27 guys, but again, this video, there's already so many prospects. I can't get to everybody, but those are their premier 5 stars and 4 stars. And then really quick, before we have a conversation, wrapping it up, what we need to do to get all these guys, well, let's go to the class of 28, because we have the #3 player in that cycle. He will be in town. This is Marcus Faku. I'm going to butcher this last name. Marcus Fakuato, coming out of Orange Lutheran, 6'6", 275. Now, if that high school sounds familiar to you, that's the same high school as TJ Lateef. So again, I don't believe he might have been in high school 1 year that TJ Lateef was there. So he was a freshman when TJ was a senior. But so they're loosely familiar with each other. They probably play on the same team for 1 season. But this guy who was, oh my goodness. I mean, you want somebody who's Polynesian tough while also being incredibly athletic. That's what we get from here. Already 5-star, already a million offers. He's checking out the Huskers for the first time. Then you got Carter Barrett, 6'6", about 300 pounds, offensive tackle coming out of Iowa. He's likely going to be the best player in that state in this 28 class. He's checking out the Huskers. You got Rich James, who's coming out of Missouri, who's a very, very athletic tight end coming out of DeSmet, who Nebraska, they've had a really good connection in that high school from time to time. That's the same high school that Tyne Davis is coming out of. So, again, another one of those pipelines that Nebraska has to get involved with. All right. That is every single player visiting. Okay, not every single player. Again, there's some 3-stars we left off, some other guys who are unranked. There's going to be some people in the class of 29, class of 2030 who will also be in town. It's crazy. But again, we talk about this game ad nauseum about how important it is for Nebraska's season. Obviously, to get the ranked victory, get the monkey off our back. That's awesome. But it's important. It's deeper than that. It's more important than that. Okay, if Nebraska can somehow beat the Michigan Wolverines, you are setting yourself up to get a top 10 recruiting class for the first time in about 2 decades. You are setting yourself up to have multiple 5-stars in the class of 27, multiple 5-stars potentially in the class of 28. It changes the narrative. And it's even more important. The guys who are visiting, that's awesome. They're going to have a great experience. But it's also important for the recruits to watch it on TV, right? Because this is a primetime game on CBS. All these ones matter, okay? So there's going to be 5-stars tuned in nationwide. It's important to build these connections up with the coaching staff. Obviously, make it very clear your intention when it comes to playing time, NIL. Say, hey, you know what? This is going to be the best place for you for a culture standpoint. Impress them with the fan base. Impress them with the top class facilities. And most importantly, get the victory on the football field. Then you never know. Anything can happen. But, man, what a weekend for the Big Reds. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about everything. I want to hear what you say. Hey, if you made this far, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Big Red. Go Met. And I'll see you in the next one.